Don't be anxious. In this video, I will be going back in history and talking about some of the people who have talked about being anxious and talked about what it does for you and why you shouldn't be anxious. Why being anxious and having anxiety and worrying is all a waste of time, and going to try to convince you and help you understand this and cease worrying, because it truly is a waste of time to be anxious and to worry and do all those things. So, first, we have Jesus Christ. He says, has worrying ever added a moment to your life? And there's a lot of different translations for this, but that's my favorite. Has worrying ever added even a single moment to your life? Think about all the moments you've given to worry, to anxiety, to contemplating things and getting all worked up because you're worried it's not going to work out. You're worried this is going to happen. You're worried that's going to happen. Think about all the seconds, minutes, hours, moments that you have given to that fact of worrying. And has it ever even added one moment to your life? The answer is no. All the worrying you have ever done has all been a waste. And just think about all the times you worried and it all worked out in the end. All the times you were anxious and you realized, as Seneca says, you were suffering more in imagination than in reality. You made it up to be more than it was. Therefore, you suffered more in imagination. There's another quote from Marcus Aurelius, and it's, bear with me a second. Don't be anxious. Nature controls it all, and before long, you'll be no one, nowhere. Marcus Aurelius had different beliefs than me, and, when he says nature, I replace that for God. You know, Nature controls it all. For me, it's God controls it all. So why be anxious? Why worry as if God will see your worrying and, make something happen so you don't worry. It's already happening in your best interest anyways. So for him to change what's going to happen because you're worrying would be not just. And God cannot be not just. And before long, you'll be no one, nowhere. When you really think about it, Marcus Aurelius says, before long, you'll be no one, nowhere. He didn't believe in the things I believe, but he was right. And the fact that this earthly life dies, this earthly life is mortal. Anything confined by space and time is decaying. Everything here on earth is decaying and will cease to exist. It will die. So why worry? This earthly life is nothing to worry about because it'll all cease to exist. It'll all be gone. It's confined by space and time. And everything confined by space and time is decaying. It is, diminishing. So don't be anxious for this world. Don't worry. And, I say don't worry so you don't waste your time in this world. So, it's kind of a little bit of a paradox. It's like, well, why does it even matter if I worry? Because this world doesn't matter. So might as well worry the world away, But I know nobody wants to spend the time you do have here worrying, because I believe it is a trial, and to worry is to show you have little faith in God or whatever you believe in, the universe, whatever it is. And if you don't believe in anything, then honestly, I don't understand. But you still, I'm sure, don't want to worry. So cease to worry because there's no need to worry. And, the confidence and caution paradox I've made a video about. And essentially, it's things within your control you should have caution about. And things outside of your control you should be confident in. Because your control is subject to mistakes. But things outside of your control are not subject to mistake. They are perfect because God is perfect. So you should only concern yourself with the things inside your control. And has worrying ever helped you, perform better, make a more rational decision, make a better judgment, have a better impression? Has worrying ever done any of these things for the things that are within your control? So for the things within your control, you don't want to be in a worried state because that is where you make the mistakes. That is where you let your lower self take over for your higher self, and you make mistakes of utmost importance. So, in all ways, worrying does not help. It doesn't help you make better decisions. It wastes time. It's the most useless thing. Worrying and complaining for me are two of the most useless, waste of time, soul degrading things. Why complain? Like, I don't understand that either. Not to say I don't do it, not to say I don't worry either, but in the grand scheme of things, when I look at it, I don't think I should. And I understand that both are a immense waste of time and an immense waste of a clear head and clear thinking. And I'm trying to improve upon these things and not complain and not worry and put faith in God. But, it's anything worth doing takes time. Anything worth doing takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And if it did happen overnight, it wouldn't be worth doing. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you won't be built in a day. The person you want to be won't be built in a day. It takes consistency and it takes a lifetime sometimes. But it definitely doesn't happen overnight, and it definitely doesn't happen by worrying, complaining, and beating yourself up.